maybe the children shouldn't get an F so much as the system should get an F.
They haven't had good food to eat. They maybe didn't get a good night's sleep.
The teachers are feeling all alone. They need the resource of the whole community.
Hi, welcome back to Gotta Be Me podcast. We're happy to be with you for another episode today. We are your hosts. I'm Sophia Benyon, and this is my cousin, Peyton Benyon.
Welcome back to our channel, everybody. If you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Well, today our topic is something that we're passionate about, and
as usual,
I don't think we tend to talk about things we're not passionate about.
We always say that.
Most of the time, we're like really care about the topic, right? So we're going to talk about education and the education system a little bit. The other day, I saw a headline in the news, and it was talking about, and it just said like, more moms are homeschooling their children than ever, or something like that. And I just thought, oh, that's interesting.
Which, as a child, I was homeschooled for a great portion of my life. Mm-hmm. So my mom is one of those heroes that was a mom and a teacher.
And I think it's interesting, you know, there's always been what's considered those fringe people that homeschool. Mm-hmm. But now it's becoming way more of a thing. And I thought, well, I wonder why, you know. And I think following that train of thought can lead you a lot of ways. Obviously, there's a lot of things with the public school system that's not okay. Mm-hmm. In the past, you know, we've been privileged to be involved, you know, in schools. And we got to experience firsthand, you know, what some of those failures of the system are. What would you say is like the main need of a public school, or like why are they failing, and what could kind of help or remedy?
Well, honestly, something I've said before, so we have a lot of children failing in the U.S. If you look at the statistics, we have a lot of children failing, and I've said often, maybe the children shouldn't get an F so much as the system should get an F, you know?
Yes.
Maybe the system's failing and not the children. Mm-hmm. Maybe we need to look, is it the barrel that's bad or the apples that are bad?
Because how can that many children be?
You know what I mean? And I think, honestly, it has a lot to do with community being involved.
Okay.
You know, like, you've got these teachers teaching academics, right? Mm-hmm. And you're teaching these students, and especially in our more impoverished areas, you have teachers teaching students, and then students are missing more than just the academics, right?
Right. They're coming to class, and some of them, I mean, if you're talking about especially in these impoverished areas,
where we've tended to work,
they haven't had good food to eat. They maybe didn't get a good night's sleep. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of
climate is not controlled.
Right.
I mean, we're out here in the Midwest. It's Indiana. It's winter. I had
hot
children who had no heat.
Right. They don't have nice or good clothes. Sometimes they don't have clean clothes, even though it's been a few days.
Absolutely. And then we're trying to come throw the ABCs at them when really that they can't even do that if they haven't been properly cleaned up first. They can't do that if they haven't been.
They have no ability to learn at that point.
And that's where the community should come in. Mm-hmm. And also, how can a student learn if they haven't been taught respect?
So you think it's the community that should help to fix this situation?
Absolutely. I think everyone should be involved in order to actually teach a child, because it's not just teaching a child their ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s. It's an actual full education.
Right. It's the learning of everything. It's a teaching of the child to learn, right?
And teaching how to learn in future, how to get along in life. It's not just a memorization. It's teaching you how to think.
I feel like, you know, I don't have children, so I can't speak for them like that, but I feel like if I were to have children, I would definitely want to be involved in every way, you know, that the school would allow me in my child's school. I want to know what they're doing, what they're learning, and able to support that. And I think parents should want to be involved, you know, if they can, but sometimes parents are also in horrible situations. Sometimes.
And that's where the community should
come
step in, right? We have these children that are made fatherless, motherless, homeless, whatever. That we need a community, and oftentimes the schools aren't letting the community be involved in a holistic way or in a comprehensive manner. They're not letting everyone bring their giftings, the things they bring. Like, we need what fathers bring to school. We need what mothers bring to school.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you know, not only do the children need support, but we're talking about these parents might need support. Who knows what kind of rough way they grew up.
Teachers need support.
Teachers need support.
We have teacher burnout like crazy because the teachers are feeling all alone. They need the resource of of the whole community.
Right. They need fathers that can, help guide young men. They need, just like you said, every kind of gifting could be used in the school and could be helpful. The children are, I feel like it's not fair to just leave our children, to just place a teacher in a classroom and just give them 30 children and just say, now figure out how to get them educated.
Yeah, how are you going to do that? When half of them are hungry.
Right. So like they're missing all kinds of necessities. And then the teacher.
And if you don't deal with that first, no one's going to learn anything.
Right. And you're just going to be there burning yourself out trying to teach children that are exhausted or who knows what happened. They watched their dad get arrested last night. And then if there's no communication between, in the community, how can we know how to support this child, that maybe this child needs love? I think of the story, that Brother Steph always tells about a classroom where, let's see, I think the students were all failing, but they were also the same thing in these poor situations. And the only thing they changed was they started feeding the children good food. They gave them showers, I think, before they came to class, and gave them nice haircuts or something like that. And the class went from an F to a C-.
That's a lot.
But that takes community support. The teacher can't take care of all that by themselves.
The teacher can't do that. The teacher is there for what their gifting allows, what their teaching gifting allows, and that takes full support from the community. Another thing, I think, maybe I'm just going off on a trail here. Just stop me if I am.
No, go ahead.
But something that frustrates me when I'm in school, or frustrate me in cases in the past, is how quick the schools often are, or doctors are, to put the children on meds instead of taking the time to actually clean them up, to actually teach them,
it can be
to actually teach them respect, to actually teach them self-control. And they're so quick to put children on meds, and it messes up the children.
And of course, there are real needs and real diagnosable things going on that need cares and the intervention of doctors, but I definitely think there could be more care taken there. Yes.
I think that's personal opinion. Someone could disagree with me. I think we're too quick to put children on meds, and they do it because they don't have the time to invest in the children, to actually give them something that will make them succeed.
And once again, we need the community. The teacher, they're trying to manage 29 other students, for example. They don't have the time maybe to take aside that child that seems a little hyper. So putting them on meds.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
What else are you going to do at that point, or else kick them out of the classroom? Another thing that really bothered me when we went in there?
I guess we're going to get all our pet peeves out working in the education system.
I really could not stand a lot of the food that they tend to feed the children.
Breakfast in the mornings.
I think the system tends to try to go for cheap.
There's nothing more angering than seeing your children walk in at 7:59 and with a Pop-Tart in their hand.
Yes, or a cinnamon roll.
And then why are our children so hyper? Why do they have anger management problems? Well, guess what? They ate chemicals for breakfast.
And then the lunch, sometimes it was unrecognizable.
Sometimes it truly was.
I would look at the children's plates so happy that I brought my own lunch. What are you eating? And they'd be like, I don't know, but it's nasty. That's just sad.
I mean, how are we expecting anyone to think on that? And it's a systemic issue. I believe it's purposeful.
Right. And it's not that it's not that the teachers don't love the children. It's not that the parents don't love the children. It's just that trying to do this on anybody trying to do it by themselves, it just won't work.
It's never going to work.
Especially anybody trying to fight, the system that allows these things by themselves is not going to be able to make that much of a difference. We have to band together as a community and say, you know what, we're not going to allow this. The school and our community is going to, take care of this problem. We're going to be involved. We're going to, and it's not more programs. It's not more groups necessarily like that. It's just the community getting involved.
Absolutely. It's going to take everybody in a unified front and effort. If children see a unified effort, they will respond well.
Children respond to love. As student engagement activists, it was our pleasure to go into the school and just play with them at recess.
Absolutely.
And hug them and put lotion on their little dry hands, and just the love makes such a difference for those children. Well, that's a little of our personal experience that we've had. Shout out to every teacher and everybody in the community that's doing their best to be engaged And I hope that everyone just, works together to do this better. We're very proud to be a part of an organization that's doing its best to labor in the community. Well, you know what time it is tonight.
Peace, love, and hair grease.